awesome. Well, I'm so excited we're doing this. But I have an innovation title, and oftentimes people don't know what the heck that means. You lead transformation for one of the largest global media companies. What does that mean to you? What does that mean professionally and personally?
For me, transformation means a lot of different things. And it depends on the mindset I'm in terms of where I'm going with it. So personally, transformation means that I'm always pushing outside my comfort zone, always seeking to be the success, being the redundancy, and going to the next thing. When it comes to transformation in terms of the job title, it's about transforming the ways in which we work, how we use AI to make things better and faster, how we free ourselves up to make better decisions as a result of using that AI, and then also how we optimize and make things better and more efficient in terms of optimizing everyday life and channels, as well as, so for me, transformation also means the way that you behave in your life as well. So taking on new things, being kind, and that enables you to then, work other favors as you move through, be kind on the way up because you don't know who you're going to be on the way back down, but also pivoting and having that global perspective enables you to start to source ideas from everywhere that enables you to transform not only yourself personally, but also the work that you do.
From the AI perspective, I know Spark looks at AI as transformative and really focuses on that transformation. How do you see it adding efficiency into workflows, into what you oversee, and also your data and analytics background? How has that helped you within that thread as well?
It's been really fun, actually, in terms of, I always laugh because, 8-9 years ago, we were pulling out a can and, investing in Marcel.ai, right? And everybody laughed at us in the industry. And now everybody's talking about nothing but AI. So I feel like, I'm kind of got a little bit of happiness about the fact that we invested ahead of the schema. Yep. When it comes to how we're working, we've been using machine learning. I mean, all machine learning is AI, but not all AI is machine learning. But we've been using a lot of AI for a long time in what we do, whether that be for analytics or trafficking or tagging and things like that. What we're increasingly using it for is to help us analyze audience insights, build audience profiles, think about what that go-to-market looks like, help us with planning and optimization. And so what we've been doing is looking at how we can generate newer ideas, build out more creativity, using that time that we are saving to actually focus on more creativity and applying more data to get to true, richer behavioral insights.
That's amazing. Yeah, Spark's always been on that bleeding edge. So that's awesome. From the KERV perspective, we're analyzing content in that same way that you're looking at your audiences. And to your point, we have been using machine learning for years and years and years. And the AI advancements that we have access to in the last few years have just helped us to expedite on that foundation that we had already built to kind of step us into that new and next phase of shoppable TV and scalable interoperability.
And you and I were talking about that the other
exactly.
day in terms of it's not enough to just have the data and know who the person is. You have to have the insight. And part of that insight is knowing the context in which you're advertising.
Exactly.
And so it's not enough to just know who that person is, how they behave. You need to know that you're then delivering. So there was a moment in time where everybody was like, you know what, we've got programmatic advertising now. We can do precision targeting, and that's enough. It's never been that. It's always been a case of precision plus context plus scale equals the result that you need to drive the business outcome.
100%. And we're already seeing the outcomes, even with a large retailer that we worked on together. When adding this sort of contextual layer as well as the commerce layer, we're seeing lift across the funnel from awareness all the way down to foot traffic, sales, everything. So the outcome is there. And talking from the publisher side as well, we're adding value to their side while driving the outcome for you guys. So it feels like we're in this huge shift towards outcomes and out of just CPMs and reach and whatnot, and getting into contextual commerce, shoppable TV.
Exactly, and it makes the consumer experience even better, right?
Exactly.
I think about both from a marketer's perspective, from a partner's perspective, from a client perspective, but then also importantly a consumer perspective, because and it depends where you are in your consumer journey, but there are some things I know I just want. Give me that button right now, make it shoppable.
Yep.
And there are other things I need to do a little bit more research. So I need to get a bit more of an emotional connection to the brand, so that those larger ticket purchases, some of the small purchases too, sometimes you have polls. You want to know a little bit more about it. And so I think
true.
it's really interesting to be able to connect that context, the shoppability to the business outcome, but also importantly have that feedback loop back into the audiences so we can find more people
100%.
that look like using the same data to understand, you know, where they were in that consumer journey, how they're converting, how they consume, and then of course that context as well is absolutely key.
Yes. And in that, we were joking about how interoperability was something we've been talking about over the last 5 years. And in that, when I'm working across the publisher side, interoperability with what you just said just isn't there yet. There isn't a streamlined way for shoppability to exist across platforms and devices right now to make that streamlined experience for the brands that you represent and you lead transformation for. Who do you think should really lead that charge?
I think it has to be a joint effort. I think we've been in the same place for a while on currency.
Yeah.
It's the same interoperability problem there, right? And we're getting there.
Yeah.
But I think we can all move faster. But what that means is that we have to have everybody wanting to go for the greater good for the industry and for the business outcomes for our clients versus ourselves or some of the partners, quite candidly, right? Because the reality is if we can all align about how we get that data to work together, if it's truly interoperable, imagine if we had, I mean, crazy idea. Imagine if we had one taxonomy, not just for an individual client, but also across the industry that everybody adhered to.
Yep.
How much easier would analytics and attribution be if we all had that? And I know we're both
You're
nerdy.
speaking my language.
I know we're both nerdy and we love a little bit of taxonomy. But it's true that some of the things are deemed the most boring can be the most sexy when you actually get them to work in sync with each other. And so taxonomy, you know, get that right. That's a hygiene factor.
Yes.
But it's amazing how many people you look around at the different industries and people are still using different things.
Yes.
And so we have a uniform taxonomy across Publicis that we use for our clients. Yep. You know, it's not always the same everywhere.
Yes, and we're pushing that across the publishers as well. And we have this object level specificity that makes our product match for shoppable the best in class. But to your point, we can't start at that granular level. We have to start at the more interoperable level and make sure that you can buy that same taxonomy across all publishers and then double click in. And I mean, AI is helpful, but you have to have the hygiene in place. You have to have the taxonomies cleaned up before you can really expand further.
And my hope is that what AI will enable us to do is that we know as humans what to look for to find the errors, but we can't move at the pace that we need to move at. And human errors still 2.26%. I'm pretty proud that at Publicis and Spark, we don't have an error rate that high. However, what I do think will happen is, you know, where we haven't managed to get that taxonomy to work everywhere, AI will be able to interrogate and find the pieces of the puzzle that are uniform and put it in to be able to analyze it more quickly. So that's where I think it will go.
So Publicis and Spark have been on the leading edge. I mean, you all are leading the charge with most of our large publisher partnerships, and from Disney to Warner. With that, thinking about how amazing you've been innovating over the last few years, what are you looking for? What are you expecting for 2026? What's your vision?
I mean, my vision is that things are interconnected across everything, right? So thinking about the consumer experience end to end and beyond just the media ecosystem, how do we connect that outside of those parallels as well? So into the enterprise business connection as well. So thinking about how you get to supply chain, how you connect that to business outcome, and all the things in between that. That's what really makes it completely brilliant, in my opinion. So you start to think about data point to understand the audience in terms of the insight, building that strategy, then taking that to shoppable like elements as well as emotional connection.
Yes.
Make that tie to business outcomes and bring that all the way back around and make that virtuous circle just keep cycling. I think that would be great.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thank you.